Welcome to 30-Second Chances, where we ask deep, contemplative questions and provide far too little time to formulate thoughtful, reflective answers. My guest today is technology blogger Russ Hughes. Russ, how are you?
I'm good. It's dark and I'm in Ireland, so it's wet as well.
It's dark and wet and you're in Ireland.
Yeah, and you wouldn't get a tan like that where I live.
I don't know if I consider this a tan, but okay, fair enough.
All right, well, look at me.
All right, 30 seconds on the clock and then on to the next question. Are you ready?
No. Go.
Excellent. Okay, question number one. Describe your job to a 5-year-old.
I work with people who make music and who make movies and help them to do the best they can with gear like software and hardware. And I introduce them to new technologies and hopefully it will make their lives better. Is that?
You got in right under the wire. Excellent. Very well done.
Good. It's a rare moment.
Okay, next question. What's the one thing you wish people had warned you about or told you before you started your own career?
Not to say yes so often. I actually wrote about this morning on my Facebook page, that when you're younger and when you're starting out in business, you say yes to everything. And the trouble is, when you say yes to stuff, you reduce your options, you don't make them bigger. And actually, I'm learning to say no more. Yes comes often from a place of insecurity. And saying no is hard sometimes because you don't want to let people down. You don't want to seem unreasonable. But sometimes by saying yes when you don't really want to do something, you actually have to say a soft no later, which is even worse.
Next question. What's the most creative backhanded compliment you've ever received?
Have you lost weight?
Ooh.
It's probably one of those. And I have lost weight. I lost 25% of my body weight in the last 2 years. So it's nice to hear, but you obviously realize that when people ask you that, you were bigger, you used to be bigger. So
not just used to be bigger, but they noticed it.
They noticed it. Yeah.
I like that. Usually it's musical compliments, something like, wow, whatever you were going for there, you really did it,
Oh, yeah. Have you used auto-tune on this? In other words.
All right. Next question. What would 15-year-old you be most and least impressed with about present-day you?
That I don't understand most of what I would say 15-year-old me would say, that I would be boring, that I'd say things that 54-year-old me would say things that 15-year-old me always used to criticize grown-ups for, like that music's too loud, it's got no melody, it's all beat. I sound like my dad, and that disappoints 15-year-old me.
These kids, get off my lawn. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, all that stuff.
All right. Tell me something about yourself that sounds absolutely ludicrous, but it's really true.
Absolutely ludicrous, but it's really true. What would that? Oh, that's a tough one. Really ludicrous. That's really true. I don't know. What could it be? Here's one. I have a real aversion to heights. I mean, I have a real problem with heights. I often think if I walk across a bridge, I'm going to somehow be possessed by something and throw myself off. It's weird, isn't it? That's odd. But perhaps people always feel like that. So I don't go anywhere near bridges, up near cliffs, up tall buildings.
Interesting. Okay. If you could have one pointless or semi-useless superpower, what would it be?
A pointless superpower or a useless superpower? What would that be? I don't know. To be able to generate chocolate out of thin air, that would be a good one. But actually, that wouldn't be useless or pointless. I could really enjoy that.
I kind of like that. Cacao, man.
Yeah,
you have a little chocolate bar on your chest, and
and literally just go boom, and there you go. There's your favorite chocolate bar. Because the British know how to do chocolate. I'm going to offend the Americans now. You guys can't do chocolate. We can.
Well, I would agree with you there, except for the more, boutique chocolates. But yes, I would agree. I do like British chocolates quite a bit. Okay, next question. In the biopic of your life, who would play you and who would play your arch nemesis?
Who would play me? There's a guy who my brother-in-law says I look exactly like. It's a guy called Dom Jolly, who's the phone jacker. I don't know if you've ever seen that show in America, but it's
No.
a comedy show. Apparently, I'm a dead ringer for him. I certainly was when I had more weight. But I'm guessing Brad Pitt would really play me. And my nemesis, who would play my nemesis? Donald Trump would play my nemesis because he's everybody's nemesis. Am I allowed to say that? Yeah, well, he's not. We know that he's not a very good president either.
What's the worst mistake you've ever made in a professional setting?
What's the worst mistake I've ever made? Okay, this is a real confessional. I was doing a presentation about social media to a room full of people of faith, and I was showing them how to Google to find different things. And as I started to Google, Pornhub came up from my browser memory. Now get out of that.
Well, I bet they've all seen it all anyway, you know.
Yeah. They're people of faith, definitely.
All right. That concludes our questions. I'm going to put 30 seconds more on the clock and allow you to either ask me a question, answer for me a question you wish I had asked you, or just pontificate on anything you like. Use the 30 seconds to your heart's content. Go.
Has anybody ever asked you why you've done this? Because it's a brilliant idea. So, Daniel, what inspired you to do this?
To be perfectly honest, the shutdown killed a lot of my plans. I was just getting ready to moderate a panel at South by Southwest. I had all sorts of plans lined up for the year, and I started to go absolutely batshit crazy. Yeah. And I thought I would just reach out to a few friends. I honestly didn't think it was going to come of much. And I'll go over my own buzzer, but yeah, I actually just—
You're not allowed.
Yeah, it's turned into a bit of a monster. We're now on, almost 70 episodes of this.
Wow.
And it's actually extended into something else, which I'll be talking about publicly very soon, because a lot of these great conversations and questions like the one we're having right now ended up on the cutting room floor. So we're starting a new series called Insights in Sound, which will feature more in-depth and actually serious conversations with people.
Careful.
Of a more personal nature in terms of, the creative process and whatnot. And we've got a bunch of episodes already ready. We're going to be dropping the first one in a week or two. So by the time we talk about this, it'll probably already be on the air.
Great. Well, that's wonderful. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate you making the time.
Thanks for being our guest. And I've enjoyed this immensely.
Me too. Nice to speak to you, Daniel. You take care.